Hello students, welcome to the course Understanding Gender and Law BGS 011. Today we will discuss this topic Caste, Class, Religion in Law Part 1. As you know that Indian subcontinent is a home to all major religions in the world. Apart from religion, there is a presence of the caste system, and that is predominantly present in India. I mean, across the South Asia, it is there, but it is predominantly existing in Indian society. Caste and religion have in many ways hindered the growth of the society. To curb this, reservation was introduced to uplift the people belonging to the backward caste and minorities. Apart from the caste and religion, class is also a major factor for the division in society. Social class, which is dependent on the individual's socio-economic status, have been followed not only in India but throughout the world. And you could see that in different names have been given. For instance, in US it is called the affirmative action, and in which the black peoples, how they have to come and achieve, because racism was always been there, and since because of the racism, the ways in which they faced discrimination, as a result you will see that that the affirmative actions came into existence. Now, objective of this lecture, today's lecture, are to explain the idea of the caste system, to describe the history and origin of caste system, to discuss the purpose of reservation, and how a caste and its relationship works. So, let us try to understand then the definition of caste. Restley defines caste as, and I quote, as a collection of families or group of families bearing a common name, claiming a common descent from a mythical ancestor, human or divine, professing to follow the same hereditary calling, and regarded by those who are condemned to give an opinion as forming a single homogeneous community, unquote. This book, you could see when during the time of the British, it came into existence, the ways in which the caste census also emerged during that time, and you could see that it's a very tiny book, you can always read this. At the same time, I think it's been very important to understand what is understanding the caste. Now, caste system is an identity system that is unique to India. Caste system had its origin in the ancient time, and it was based on birth. Once a person is born in a certain caste, he or she remains in the same caste. It is a system of the graded inequality where some castes are considered to be lower than the other. The caste variations depend on region, language, color, and many other indicators. Although our forms of differentiation exist in all human society, it becomes a problem when one or more of these dimensions overlap each other and become the sole basis of systematic ranking and unequal access to valued resources like wealth, income, power, and prestige. The Indian caste system is considered a closed system of stratification, which means that a person's social status is obligated to which caste they were born into, and you can relate and understand the ways in which the marriages or the institutions operates in our society. There are limits on interaction and behavior with people from another social status. They are classified according to occupation and determine access to wealth, power, and privilege. The Brahmins, usually priests and scholars, are at top. Next are the Kshatriyas, or the political rulers and soldiers. They are followed by the Vaishyas, or the merchants, and the fourth are the Shudras, who are usually laborers, peasants, artisans and servants. At the very bottom are those considered the untouchables, which we call it today scheduled caste, in the legal this framework, but in academia we also use the term Dalits. Let me flag here the history and origin of the caste. The origin of the Indian caste system has many theories behind it. Some of them are religious, while others are biological. The religious theories explain that according to the Rig Veda, which is an ancient Hindu book, the primal man, the Purusha, destroyed himself to create a human society, and the different parts of his body created the 4 different Varnas. The Brahmins were from his head, the Kshatriyas from his hands, the Vaishyas from his thighs, and the Shudras from his feet. The Varna hierarchy is determined by descending orders of different organs from which the Varnas were created. For example, the Brahmins, who were derived from the head of the Purusha, are considered the intelligent and the most powerful Varna because their wisdom and education are the representation of the brain. In the same way, Kshatriya, considered the warrior caste, were created by arms which represent strength. Another religious theory claims that the Varnas were created from the body organs of the Brahma, who is the creator of the world in Hinduism. I think that you must read this book, Caste in India, volume 1, where Ambedkar's important essay is there. At the same time, also to understand this debate from the gender perspective, do read Uma Chakravarti's Gendering Caste, and you would see that the ways in which very simple lucid language she explains to us the whole debate on it. I think one of the important things which we need to discuss is the emergence of the reservation. In 1989, Justice Madan, in one of his judgments, said, if a class of the citizens are, as a matter of the fact, socially, educationally backward, they have a right to be given reservation system. There were many movements and the governmental action that took place pre and post independent in order to overcome and attempt to eliminate the inequalities and injustice associated with the caste. During the national movement, Gandhi began using the term Harijan, and which is, there's a lot of debate, according to him, God's people, to refer to the untouchables in order to encourage a shift towards a positive attitude towards the lower caste. But you must also see that over a period of time, this term is completely abandoned by many scholars, and also the people who are from that community, they outrightly reject this whole idea of God's people. And you can always see this debate between Gandhi and Ambedkar, the 2 different approaches. You could see that, how they both are talking about it, and Ambedkar in fact is not only talking about the anti-caste movement. He began with that, but he is sort of giving us the model how to annihilate caste, right? So I would urge to you that to go through the readings and see that how these debates appear, reappear, revisiting again. In the 1960s, the reservation system of the scheduled caste and scheduled tribe began after the independence, but the individual states were the ones that were to determine which would be identified as a OBC also. Many southern states identified economically disadvantaged caste as OBCs, but there has been considerable opposition to implementing these policies in other Indian states. The central government appointed the commission headed by B.P. Mandal to look into these issues, and by 1978 the Mandal Commission report was completed. It was concluded that caste was the main contributing factor to social and economic backwardness. Many seats in state institutions were reserved for those three groups. The commission recommended that 27% of the seats be reserved for the OBCs, in addition to 15% for the SCs and 7% for the STs. Now, it's been important to understand again this few ideas on caste and constitution, what constitution talks about these issues. The framer of the constitution, keeping in mind the prevalent caste system, introduced the concept of reservation. The constitution has made numerous efforts through various articles and different statutes to ensure that there is an end to this practice. Constitution declares that not only untouchability is unconstitutional, but any discrimination on the basis of caste is declared to be unconstitutional, and this is placed in the chapter on fundamental rights given in the constitution. So it is a fundamental rights to every citizen not to be discriminated against on the grounds of caste. It is a positive right not to be discriminated against on the grounds of caste among other things, on the grounds of religion, on the grounds of gender, on the grounds of community, language, religion, but also again caste. So there are various provisions in the constitution that highlighted the principle of equality. For instance, Article 14th of the Indian Constitution states that, and I quote, "The state shall not deny to any person equality before the law or equal protection of the laws within the territory of India," unquote. This article provides equality before law and equal protection of all the people without discrimination. Article 15(4), capacitates the state to create special arrangement for promoting the interests and welfare of socially and educationally backward classes of the society such as SC and ST. Article 16 of the Constitution also and also Article 335, which have direct bearing on the reservation, are as follows. And Article 16(1), there shall be equality of opportunity for all citizens in the matters relating to employment or appointment to any office under the state. Apart from the Constitution, there are other acts framed by the legislature for the protection of the people from various castes. One of such acts is called the Scheduled Caste and Scheduled Tribe Prevention of Atrocity Act, which emerged in 1989. There is again been history to everything. But this act provides protection to the people belonging to SC and STs from being discriminated against, and if faced with any of them, then the punishment are also prescribed. I think we need to also understand that how caste is operating in modern India. So let us try to understand modern India and the caste system. The relationship between castes are much more relaxed due to various developments in law as well as society. The discrimination has been slightly reduced. I would not say completely, but slightly reduced. There has been an increase in the representation of the SC, STs and OBC in elected offices, and they have acquired strong local support. They have also become an important element in electoral politics and have gone on to form strong political parties in various regions. People from these advantaged groups have largely made their way into government jobs as well as levels of educational institution. Unfortunately, however, only relatively small proportion of low caste have benefited from these preferential policies. Even though there is an increasing acceptance of the lower caste individuals, there is also more overt hostility and violence expressed against the lower caste and classes in many parts of India. However, the government is taking steps to encourage the low caste of India. For example, by encouraging students belonging to the lower caste toward higher education by making the cutoff less for them compared to the others. And I think that the class also plays then the important role, and we need to understand class and law here. The Indian Constitution provides that all citizens are equal before law. However, law works like a superstructure and the base in the society is different. The inequalities of caste are strong. In operation of the law, inequalities of class can be seen. Law cannot work the same way for every class of individual. Unlike caste, class discrimination is practiced throughout the world. Class discrimination is based on social and individual achievements of individual. Social class also is called as a class, a group of people within a society who possesses the same socio-economic status. The concept of class as a collection of individuals sharing similar economic circumstances has been widely used in census and in studies of social mobility. So, in this lecture, let me conclude by saying the effort was to make you understand the relation between caste, class and religion, and then how this debate emerged, how the caste system emerged in India and South Asia, what are the measures have been taken in the constitution, at the same time what is the relationship of class and caste, right. On the other hand, one would also see that there is a discrimination in Indian society, and we need to understand that what are the measures to be taken. I mean, constitution has given that spaces, and in the institution still we see that students do face, teacher do face caste discrimination cutting across all the institution. So, we need to be careful, understand these debates very seriously. So, thank you.